You know, with WWE furloughing and releasing a lot of talent and behind the scenes producers and writers and all that, I think the question is basically anybody has, and although people like JD from NY206 and Just Alex and many of them have tried to talk about this on their own accord, the big question though is how many of these people that got released and furloughed will return, and how many will go elsewhere. Well, there's an old saying, as much as we hate to say it, that even when things get back to normal, and even during the pandemic now, even during this pandemic now, there's an old saying that seems to be true, and that is, money talks, you walk. And that's basically what it is. If the money is enough, if money talks, then you, my friend, will walk, if it's good enough for you. And there's a lot of superstars right now that seemingly are going to be heading elsewhere after July. Basically, the I would assume if I look at my calendar here. I would assume that according to what JD said in his thing, I would assume that basically the 22nd edition of AEW, which falls 3 days before my birthday, is going to be really intriguing to watch. Because within that 3 days, not 3 days, but within 5 days before that, according to JD, a lot of these superstars that will release, their 90 days will be up. And a lot of them will finally be free to go anywhere they want. But the question is, who will show up in AEW? Who will show up that following weekend for Impact? Who will show up that following weekend for MLW? Who will travel, if it's possible, to Japan or even Mexico? Those are questions people want to know. Now, one superstar, Carl Anderson, once known as the Machine Gun and Bullet Club in Japan, has made a tease that Machine Gun Carl Anderson is back, and that his career will not be complete until he becomes the IWGP World Champion. And right now, it looks like after July 17th, he has an opening to go to Japan and make that a reality. But will he? That's the question. And then you got Drake Maverick, aka Rockstar Spud. Where is he going to head? Well, honestly, from what we saw in his video, Rockstar Drake, if you will, his dream was always to be part of WWE. So I have no doubt that Drake is going to be one of those people that after the 90 days is up is going to be back in WWE. That he's going to be probably, in my opinion, one of the first to call and say, hey, can I come back? And he will. No Way Jose, I think, is probably going to go the CJ Parker route. And what I mean by that is he's going to go to Japan. I see him fitting into Japan. I see him going the CJ Parker route. I see him going this probably similar journey and becoming a champion in Japan before ending up maybe in AEW or MLW. That's what I see. Unless WWE decides to call him back too. We don't know. Because again, remember, money talks, people will walk. Walk, if you will. Money talks, people will walk. And that was just my talk, and it surprised me. I thought it was my doorknob. But anyway, well, like I said, money talks, people walk. Most times. And a lot of these superstars, I think, will probably, I'll put it this way. Sarah Logan, I could probably see going back to WWE. I could see that. But I could see her going back to WWE and staying in NXT until she's totally prepared. I could see someone like an EC3 probably going to AEW and becoming a major player if he gets cleared, because one of the things that's kept him out has been injuries and concussions. So if he gets cleared, yeah, I'll basically say EC3 is all elite. Rusev, Milo, as he's called now, is another question. Will he go to AEW? Will he go to Japan? Will he go to Mexico? I think Rusev, aka Milo, is back in WWE. I just get this feeling that Lana's going to try to work her magic, talk to WWE into saying, hey, Brent, let him come back, sign him back, and give him that push he needs. I've got a feeling that's what's going to happen. She's going to be the reason he comes back. Heath Slater, I could see probably going to MLW and succeeding. I could see him changing up and MLW being a destination for him. Simon Gotch is getting over in MLW as part of Contra. So I don't doubt Heath Slater can do the same thing. You know, it's just when you get to this, in a sense, yeah, it is a question of who's going to come back, who's going to go elsewhere. But like I said, money talks, people walk at most times. And if WWE's money is good enough to do the talking to these individuals that they've released because they have to save money, then there's no doubt these people that they've released, these superstars, these men and women, will be walking back to WWE. Now, I could be wrong, and I hope I am, because a lot of these talents deserve better treatment. Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, let them go to AEW. Let them join the Young Bucks. Oh, heck, let them become part of the Inner Circle. Let them be part of the Dark Order. Who knows? Or let them be their own thing. I'm just saying. But, again, I'm not trying to be a downer because I think a lot of these talents could succeed elsewhere. They really can. But I think, honestly, in the end, it's about money talking, and who's going to be walking. That's walking back into WWE's arms. And again, I think there are going to be some that will, like Logan, Maverick, Rusev. I feel those guys are going to be walking back. The others, like EC3, Heath Slater, Lio Rush, they're questionable. Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows, I think are probably going to go back to Japan. Maybe they'll go to Mexico. Maybe they'll go to AEW. Who knows? I definitely look at Carl Anderson out of the two going back to Japan if Luke Gallows decides, hey, I'd rather financially sustain my family and I'm going to stay with WWE. We'll have to see what they do. But, again, I'm not trying to be a downer or anything, guys. I'm just being a realist. And the reality is, even during this pandemic and even after it's all said and done, and it will be by the grace of God, it's going to be within the next few months, if not weeks, it's going to slow down to a halt, or at least a semi-threat or minor threat. That when we start getting into that normalization, you know what's going to happen? WWE's going to get that money out. They're going to look at these people and they're going to say, we got the money, you going to walk? This money's talking to you, or you're going to be walking. That's what's going to happen. But again, I could see someone like a Heath Slater going to MLW. I can see a No Way Jose taking the path of the CJ Parker, becoming, in his journey to become Juice Robinson. I could see that. I could see an Anderson going back there. I could see a Gallows probably whining in between, not whining, but kind of being like on the fence of going back to WWE or going to Japan or even maybe AEW. Who knows? EC3, I could definitely see going there. I could see Sarah Logan going back to WWE as part of NXT. But I'm not ruling out that she wouldn't go to Impact or maybe even AEW. EC3, again, I think is all elite. I think he's bound that way. I think he's heading down that direction. There's no doubt. But again, as I say in a lot of my videos, we'll have to wait and see. Because in the end, It's about business, and it's about what financially is beneficial for you and your family. And a lot of these men and women have families. So the question is, what's going to be beneficial for them financially? Going elsewhere and taking a chance, or staying in a company, or going back to a company that, even though you don't like who's in charge, you don't like sometimes the direction your character gets put in, and financially, you're going to be stable for you and your family are going to financially be stable. What would be the choice? What would you choose? Let me know what you guys think down below. Comment if you like. I'd love to hear what each and every one of you have to say about it. And I am out.